It's now on set for more on the markets is Jason Trennert, Chairman and CEO of Strategas Research Partners, which is a Baird company. You had a lot of print over the weekend with Wall Street Journal and Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
And well, we were just talking about the idea of how you get out of $34 trillion in debt. And the point, there were 2 points I made. One is that I think you have to grow your way out. I don't think there's any other way out. You're not going to be able to raise taxes enough, in my opinion, in the next administration, whoever's president, to get out of that. We also talked a lot about our common man CPI, which suggests to me that it's going to be very difficult for President Biden, trying to be as fair as possible. It's going to be very hard for him to ignore this issue going into November because people's standard of living has declined over the past 3 years based on our common man CPI are things you have to buy. So it's food, energy, insurance, clothing, housing, utilities. It's not things you might like to buy. And so for, the way the BLS reports that food and energy is non-core. And, for most people, eating and staying warm is pretty core. So this is what we focused on, and that's shown that there's been, again, a pretty serious deterioration in the standard of living over the past 3 years.
What people forget, and I think you forget the cumulative effect of the 40-year highs in inflation. And when inflation comes down, the prices don't come down. No. They go up less slowly. So if you just do the math, between what things are costing and the raises in dollars that people have gotten, it doesn't, in real dollars, it does not add up to more of a paycheck. The weekly average earnings adjusted for inflation are below where they were 3 years ago.
And Joe, I would say we've done some work in our shop, too, that suggests that part of one of the implications of that is that it's very likely you get another wave of inflation. We looked back, our chief economist, John Rissler, looked back at 100 years of data in 30 different countries and said, once you get one wave of inflation over 6, you are about 90% likely to get another wave of inflation over 6. And that's largely because of what you're describing. People are behind. Labor tends to want more. They come back for more and say, listen, this was nice that you saw Teamsters and UAW last year get nice wage increases, but it's not enough for me to make up for the decline. And I wish fiscally we were doing more things to not try to, I would say there's no coordination between fiscal and monetary policy right now. Fiscal policy is stepping on the gas while monetary policy is trying to step on the brake.
We asked President Trump about tariffs and whether or not it would be inflationary. How are you viewing potential tariffs under a potential Trump administration? Because he was talking about offsetting with tax credits or tax cuts. But at the same time, tariffs are tariffs. And if companies reshort to the United States, that's inherently inflationary.
Yeah, well, I think that's, Melissa, I think that's happening anyway, because I feel very strongly that the relationship we've had with China before the pandemic, that's over. That's not coming back. I think the bloom is off the rose. I think there's very few things Democrats and Republicans can agree upon right now, and one of them is that China is seen as a threat. And there are very few other countries in the world that really have the scale to match China's ability to produce things and to ship them. So first, I would say that reshoring or onshoring is going to happen regardless of who's president, in my opinion. Tariffs are obviously very inflationary over time. There's no two ways about that. The question is, can you get countervailing benefits to offset the negative impacts of tariffs? Are they used as a tool, or is it something that is just the only tool in your toolkit? Right now, I would say there's very little difference between Joe Biden's policy towards China and President Biden's policies towards China when it comes to trade. The style is very different, but if you look at the actual trade policies, there's not a lot of difference between the two. That might change if President Trump were to be reelected, but there's not much of a difference now.